What is the major challenge textile industry is facing right now?
See, right now, sir, the major challenge is the US tariffs.
Now, how much it is affected?
We have business with the US. We are forced to give 15% discount to our customers just to retain the business.
Don't you think that this is the right time to go for the alternative market than US?
Sir, today the good news is that the Indian government has signed an FTA with UK. So that is a market where we see a potential.
Sir, have you look at Surat as a textile hub?
Sir, Surat, in my view, is a shining example of how India can compete with China.
Namaskar, welcome to the SGCCI podcast show with Ashwin Chandran ji, Chairman Confederation of Indian Textile Industry, New Delhi. He came from Coimbatore to Surat for upgrade the knowledge of textile industry of Surat and the South Gujarat industry. Sir, welcome to the show. My first question, being the president and chairman of the Confederation of Indian Textile Industry, what are the activities you are doing?
Thank you, Ms. Madrasi. It is my pleasure to be here in Surat and to be a guest of the Southern Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industry, a really historic association and one of its kind in the country. Sir, I represent CITI, the Confederation of Indian Textile Industry. So we are basically a confederation of regional textile associations. Our members are our regional textile associations like NITMA, SAIMA, etc. So in CITI, we have two objectives, sir, two main objectives. The first objective is to act as a bridge between the government and the industry, to represent to the government what are the concerns of the industry, what are the requirements of the industry, what are the pain points, what are some of the things that the government needs to do to help the industry grow. That is one of the main objectives. The second main objective is the development of our members. How do we create more awareness on specific subjects? For example, last week, we had a seminar, a webinar on how to comply with ESG. Today, environment, social compliance is a big requirement for most buyers, global buyers. Day after tomorrow, we are having a webinar on the new labor code. We have a prominent firm, Lakshmi Kumaran and Company. They are going to host the webinar. So it is our job to facilitate more awareness for our members on important topics, on relevant topics, and also to arrange seminars and webinars where members can increase their knowledge on certain core subjects and also increase their awareness about requirements around the world. What is happening around the world in our textile industry? How can I compete with other countries on a global scale? That is our objective.
Right, friends, Mr. Ashwin Chandran ji, Chairman Confederation of Indian Textile Industry, very well explained the activities of CITI. Now, my next question is that he is talking about the representation to the government. Currently, whatever the situation prevailing in the entire textile chain, what is the major challenge textile industry is facing right now?
See, right now, sir, the major challenge is the US tariffs. Every day we get calls from our textile industry participants asking what is happening. Because India, as a textile and apparel industry, about 35% of our exports. As a country, our exports last year were $37 billion, of which almost $11 billion went to the United States. And United States is the largest textile market in the world. They are the ones who can place large volume orders, millions of pieces. So that is a major challenge, sir. That is something that we are constantly representing to the government. I had met with personally with the Honorable Finance Minister. We had representation to Shri Piyush Goyal ji. That is something that we are hoping that the government can find a quick solution, sir. Because 50% tariff is a real pain point.
But how much it is affected?
Sir, I for one can tell you that it is we have business with the US. We are forced to give 15% discount to our customers just to retain the business. So people who are giving 15-20% discount, it is not something that is sustainable in the long term. This we are doing only to retain our customers because we have worked for 10, 15, 20 years to build up a customer base, which we cannot afford to lose overnight. So if this continues, there will be major pain. And 30% of our exports is a huge number, sir. And we are hoping that the government can work out a solution, at least that 25% additional penalty tariff for buying oil from Russia. That should go away because now India also has reduced drastically its consumption of oil from Russia. So the hope from the industry is that by the end of 2025, the government can find a solution to this problem.
But what is the solution?
Sir, solution I think is government has to negotiate with the US. The US has 2 or 3 requirements. They want us to buy more energy from them, natural gas. I think that Indian government is committing to buying more natural gas from them. They want us to buy more defense equipment from them. I think India is also committing towards doing that. I think the pain point for the government is when it comes to agricultural products, because the government has to look at our national interest. They have to look at the interest of our farmers. So when it comes to items like soya beans, wheat, dairy products, our government is trying to work out some sort of a formula where it is acceptable for our national interest. So that is the challenge, sir. But we are hearing from all the economic advisors, from the External Affairs Ministry, etc., that by the year end, we will reach a broad framework where at least the penal tariff of 25% will go away. If that goes away, then we can manage. If our tariff is 25%, vis-a-vis Bangladesh at 19% or Sri Lanka at 20%, 5 or 6% gap is manageable. Right. But 30% gap is definitely not manageable.
Do you consider that the US is doing the blackmailing with us and we should, down to the...
Sir, yes, you could call it blackmailing. You could call it very hard negotiations. And also, unfortunately, there is some egos involved also. Their president seems to be focusing on other issues apart from commerce and business. Yes, sir. But unfortunately, today we are not in a position to ignore them. Because being a market, especially for textile and apparel, 30%, 35% of your export, you cannot afford to not talk to them or say, I will not consider your threats. So that is the reason I think the government is doing a good job. They're trying to balance national interest versus the interest of the industry. And I think they have to find a compromise where both are achieved.
Don't you think that this is the right time to go for the alternative market than US?
Sir, definitely true.
And what kind of countries you are looking for?
Sir, today the good news is that the Indian government has signed an FTA with UK. So that is a market where we see a potential. Talks are also there with EU to sign FTA with EU. That will also help Indian textile and apparel industry. But sir, today the reality is most of the developed world, most of the developed countries are not growing very fast. You are seeing growth of 2%, 3%. Only countries like India, China to an extent, they're growing somewhere between 6 and 8%. So to go into a new market, which is only growing by 2 to 3%, you have to displace somebody else. You have to push out some other supplier and make an entry, which is not very easy. So while that effort is ongoing, it is very difficult to overnight replace a 35% market share. That is the challenge that we are facing, sir. Definitely, I think new market development, that is one of the objectives of CITI. We have delegations. Recently, we had led a delegation to UK. After signing of the FTA, definitely we are looking at 10% growth year on year. EU, once new FTA is signed, it will help us compete better with Bangladesh, better with Pakistan. They have today advantage over India. But it is a challenge, sir. New market development is a challenge, but it is an ongoing challenge which we have to keep working at.
So, friends, a major issue of textile industry right now is, as per Mr. Ashwin Chandran ji, is tariff. This is the SGCCI podcast is going on with Mr. Ashwin Chandran, Chairman, Confederation of Indian Textile Industry, New Delhi. Sir, second challenge, what is, as per your opinion, quality?
Sir, I think quality, by and large, the strength of India, sir, the strength of Indian textile and clothing industry is our MSMEs. We have a large number of entrepreneurs. We have a large number of medium, small enterprises that are doing a very, very good job. And we have the strength of clusters. If you take Surat, if you take Tirupur, if you take Ichalkaranji, if you take Panipat, there are such clusters around the country which are the backbone of our textile and clothing industry. So the challenge I see is twofold, sir. One, in terms of building scale. That is, today major brands, major retailers want to work with large suppliers. They don't want to work for one product with 10, 12 different suppliers. They want to work each product with maybe 2 different suppliers. So building scale, that is one challenge that we face. All our clusters, while they are very strong in whatever products they're doing, they're very strong in terms of the quality of their products, in terms of innovation. Building scale is a challenge, sir. So that is something where we are encouraging small and medium enterprises to think bigger. I think parks like the PM Mitra Park, which are coming up, that will help in this regard for smaller
Sir,
companies to build
what
scale.
is the status of PM Mitra Park all over the country?
It is happening, sir. Different states, it's happening in different speeds. I think 2 or 3 parks. Madhya Pradesh is coming along quickly. In Surat, there are some still. I think the local developer has not yet been finalized. I think that is one challenge. In Tamil Nadu, the park is coming up, but environmental clearances still have not come up. So each area, there are some challenges or the other. So we are hoping that the challenges get resolved soon. That will help, sir. Like something like a PM Mitra Park, which will offer an integrated approach. You will have the entire value chain in one campus, in one premises, close to each other. So that is something that will really help a buyer come, visit, place orders, and be confident that the orders can be met on time, right quality. The other challenge that we are facing today, sir, is compliance. Today a lot of importance is being given to sustainability, circularity, reducing carbon footprint, etc. This is the mantra of every big textile brand or big textile retailer. So that is something that we are doing. Every business in India wants to be energy efficient, whether it's using energy efficient motors, pumps, compressor, etc., or using renewable energy like solar or wind, or reducing wastage, using recycled water. All these things we are doing, industry is doing, but these need to be documented, these need to be showcased. We need to sell ourselves, market ourselves in a way where people look at us, people look at India as a compliant and responsible manufacturer. I think that is another challenge, sir. And companies, small and medium companies, find it difficult to go through many audits. So we are at a CITI, one thing we are doing is trying to put the two together. We are working with organizations like International Trade Center, organizations like Better Cotton Initiative, to make the compliance a little more user-friendly and to encourage small and medium enterprises to come forward and go through audits, get some certification, so that global buyers and retail brands can be confident that we can source from Indian companies in a responsible way.
Right, sir. Textile sector is now out of QCO. We are talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat. Now, this change, where will it go?
Sir, it's a very, very positive development. QCO, right from the time it was introduced, the industry has been totally against it. We felt that it is a non-tariff barrier, preventing the imports of polyester, viscose, and other essential raw materials. We have been telling the government, give us a level playing field. If we have to compete against other countries in textiles, we need raw material at competitive prices, at global prices. So thankfully, the government has listened to the industry's pleas, and they have rescinded the QCO on both polyester products and viscose and rayon products. So this is a big help to the industry. I really appreciate and thank the government for taking this step. Straight away, this has reduced prices, sir. Straight away, you can see that the local manufacturers of polyester, viscose, etc., have been forced to reduce prices. So this definitely is a big advantage for the industry. Industry can offer competitive prices in turn to their end customers. So the hope is that the government permanently rescinds QCO. Also, there is some talk about anti-dumping duty coming now.
Yeah.
So such sort of backdoor barriers should not be there. So now this anti-dumping duty industry, we will fight our best to ensure that this does not happen. If at all there is QCO or anti-dumping duty, it should be on the final products. Today, we are seeing increased imports of garments happening in our country. Whether it's cotton or whether man-made fibers, we are seeing increased imports of final products. If at all the government has to regulate imports, it has to happen in the final products. Like garments, where you can have minimum minimum import price, or you can have some sort of a quality check. In a final product, that's acceptable, sir, but not on raw materials or intermediary products.
Right, but the QCO removes also from machine also.
Sir, at the moment, what has happened in this in this phase has been on these two raw materials, sir, polyester and viscose derivatives.
But it's also 1 year, and then I don't think that I find any reason. It will definitely go a long way.
Yes, sir. And see, sir.
But then how we will make our India Atmanirbhar Bharat?
Sir, it will not happen overnight, sir. I think
But what is the requirement?
every sector needs to be strong, sir. You cannot look at one sector and ignore another sector. If you look at textile value chain, it is a very long value chain, right from fiber to yarn to fabric, whether it's knitted fabric or woven fabric, processing, making up until the finished product. So every sector needs to be equally balanced and strong. And if you talk about Atmanirbhar Bharat, you have to ensure that, see, you cannot deny a business who has to import a raw material, and you cannot tell them, wait until that raw material is available locally. So each segment has to grow independently, and each one has to be given that confidence, given that support to ensure that they grow up in alignment with the other sectors.
Sir, how you look at Surat as a textile hub?
Sir, Surat
potentiality, the future.
Sir, Surat, in my view, is a shining example of how India can compete with China. Surat is one of the few clusters, one of the few industry, if you look at it as a region, that can today, confidently, I can say that we can compete with China. We need many more Surats in the country. And Surat has established itself as a very reliable producer of man-made fiber products, especially polyester-related products. And if you look at the growth of Surat in the last 15 years, it has been phenomenal. The growth has been somewhere to the tune of 10 to 12% annually, only in textiles. So this is something, sir, that is a very, very good example for the rest of the country. And I'm hoping that the rest of the country sees this example, and it is a growth which has happened responsibly. It has happened in a way where the entire cluster from yarn to finished product has grown together. And this is what we need more in the country. And I see a very bright future for Surat. And I am very happy to be here and to experience this firsthand.
Sir, my last question would be, India surrounded by the country, they are already affected like anything because of their own reasons. Bangladesh is disturbed, Pakistan is disturbed, Myanmar is disturbed. Means not a single neighbor is safe as their own way. Then we have any opportunity in this kind of circumstances?
Sir,
or we are also in the problem because of them?
See, we have to look at this in two ways, sir. One, political stability. Definitely, none of our neighbors have that political stability like India does. But if you look at Bangladesh, even though they are not politically stable, ready-made garments constitutes 80 to 85% of Bangladesh export. So the ready-made garment industry in Bangladesh gets a very favored treatment by the government, whichever government, whether it's the last government or the current government, they have to give good attention to their garment industry, because otherwise their foreign exchange earnings will go to zero. If you look at Pakistan again, there are few big industry players in Pakistan. And in Pakistan, even though their economy is doing poorly, exporters are doing well because their Pakistani rupee has depreciated tremendously. So if you are using local raw material and you are exporting, then your ability to make a profit is good because the currency is very, very weak. So, and both Pakistan and Bangladesh have most favored nation status when they are exporting to Europe. So these advantages have helped them. But this is the right time for India, sir. I think globally buyers are looking at alternatives, and this is the right time for India to shine.
Last question is about the mindset of the industrialists. There is always a difference between manager, leader, and entrepreneur. They don't understand the difference with these three words. And because of that, they always busy with the routine. Now, as a big businessman like you are already coming out with certain things in your life. What is your perception about
sir, I think that's a very good question, sir. I think the key is to take ownership, sir. Whatever level, whether you're a manager, whether you're a owner, whether you're a entrepreneur, I think taking ownership, I think that is where as Indian companies, sometimes we find that we always pass the problem to the next higher up. The decision is not taken. So I keep telling our people in our company, a lot of times not taking a decision is worse than taking the wrong decision. So how to take ownership, how to make yourself accountable at every level, I think that is where we need to focus on. And that is where a lot of companies today, I think they are trying to develop their human resources, whether it's at the worker level or whether it's a managerial level. That is where I think the challenge is. Sir, if you look at countries in the West, or if you look at places like Japan, they don't have this supervisor system. Like a worker is supposed to do his job and supposed to be responsible for their job. But here we rely a lot on supervision. At whichever stage, we do checking of somebody's work, and that is today we are no longer a low cost country, sir. Indian wages, Indian salaries have increased tremendously over the last 10-15 years. So we have to be more efficient in how we work, and we have to ensure that ownership and accountability is there in all stages. That is the only way we can succeed, sir.
How you look at India as a Viksit Bharat at 2047?
Sir, I think the next 20-30 years is going to be a chance for us to shine. We have the consumer base. We have the largest population in the world. We have a good demographic. Most of 60% of our population is under 50 years of age. We have good education system. We have good infrastructure. Everything is in our favor. But the hard work needs to be done. We need to continue in terms of building further infrastructure, keeping the education policies in a good way, keeping the industrial policies in a good way. Government stability is there, but again, the government needs to focus on these areas for us to ensure that the next 20-30 years are India's decades.
I thank you very much, sir. We have with us Ashwin Chandran ji, Chairman, Confederation of Indian Textile Industry, on behalf of SGCCI. Thank you very much for your kind words and for the great hope for our nation, country, India. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Madrasi.